I mean, yo, you are now rocking with Three Sides to a Story, the pop culture podcast for the people. They said there's three sides to a story. One side, the other side, what it really is. Each week, we'll tackle a series of topics from three perspectives to try to get to the truth. I'm Tony B here, my co-host Rex, Cruz, and Aubrey. Follow us on Instagram at Three Sides to a Story, on Facebook at Three Sides Podcast, and tune in on your streaming platforms. So, episode 1 premiered last week.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yep.
I was checking for you, Aubrey. I heard.
Nah, they weren't checking for me.
That's what I heard. That's what the streets was talking about.
Yeah, I was doing some mad booty shakes on the strength for the young Damie Towers.
But love to everybody for rocking with us. We appreciate you.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all for real. But so what's popping though? The NBA playoffs and NBA finals are popping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
What's good, young Rex? What you about to say? You about to say some crazy shit?
I was waiting to see what you were saying about the Bucks or Giannis or.
I mean, we've been out the goddamn league for.
I didn't hear you.
For a week, 3 weeks.
I didn't hear you. What happened?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Where the Bulls at, bro?
Oh, we knew what was happening with the Bulls.
All right, so that's where we at right now.
But the King is still playing.
Darts. Yo, but speaking of collapsing,
the best player in the league. Let's say that. Let's make sure we clear that up.
Yeah, definitely the best player in the league.
And I said that last week.
Yep.
LeBron is the best player in the entire league.
Facts.
I won't ever argue that. Y'all won't get that out of me.
Okay. Speaking of collapsing, though, the Clippers collapsed.
Yeah.
Up 3-1.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers, we just heard before we got anyone to the Sixers.
He got a job already.
Yeah.
Shout out Doc Rivers representing Maywood out here.
Where he at? Where Doc going?
Philly.
Philly, yeah.
I don't even think the message got delivered yet. You know when he was finished packing, and yeah, Philly signed him already.
No, so what do you think about that though? Let's talk about this. What does it say about Kawhi, PG, and Lemon Pepper, Lou Will and them?
Lemon Pepper Lou.
Versus
this motherfucker just made me hungry as hell.
Shout out Magic
This motherfucker
City.
saying lemon pepper. I wish you can get some lemon pepper right now. Yeah.
No, but what does it say though? I mean, like, what does it say about the players versus Doc Rivers got let go? You know what I'm saying? Like he lost his job over this. I mean, of course he bounced back, but what do you think about that? Did he deserve to lose his job? I mean, he's also, I think he's lost 3 series now?
Yeah.
3-1, right? So
my man Wayne was telling me, not telling me, but reminding us in the text, he's like, man, Doc ain't won since like 08. You know what I mean?
08, yeah.
KG.
With the Celtics.
Yeah.
That's
Just
right.
to put it in perspective, he's still a winner. He's had a decent record and all that kind of stuff. But he hasn't really gone too far. I mean, I guess it's not. I don't know. So they got to do a change. I guess theoretically they have a new team and all that kind of stuff right now, right? So they're looking at it. I guess the window essentially in the NBA for cats right now is so small. Between free agency, trades, injury, all those kind of things. So it's like, you probably realistically have 3 years with that group, until somebody either is going to get a contract offer or
Right.
I want the ball more or whatever have you, some reason for them to start shifting up. So I think with that being said, and nobody's really signing like 10-year contracts anymore. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 cats, but realistically, the time where it is, it's shorter incentives, et cetera, et cetera. So long-winded story, what I'm trying to say is PG and Kawhi are at least there for another 2 years. They were like, Doc, you've been here for what, 7 years? 8 years? With Lob City and now this? I mean...
Yeah.
Not saying it's fair or not, but I'm just looking at it from that perspective. And he had two. He had a dual position too. Was like the GM or the president or something like that.
I just think that Doc, man, is one of those.
Yeah.
Doc, one of them people, man, that like players want to play for.
That was my
That's
response.
the hard part.
That's
man.
true.
That's
true.
Pause. But that's the hard part of a coach like that.
He's respected.
He's respected.
Very well respected.
And then when you think about like Cass has been in the league forever, not only that, but then
He's young and old.
yeah, he went
Yeah.
to Marquette. Let's not forget that.
Went to Proviso East right here.
But he went to Marquette.
That's cool.
That's
So
true.
let's make sure we understand he went to Milwaukee first.
No, here first. This is where he's from, the crib.
No, I'm saying he went to college in Marquette.
Got you.
So,
And I think that's the other reason, like, he's so respected by players is because
he's a player.
He's a player, right?
He's a player, but he's a smart dude, man. He has like his schemes is like his defensive like prowess, man. Like he's an animal, man. When it comes to it, it may not have been right for his team that was there, right? Because his team that was there, they're mostly offensive players.
Well,
Right.
Kawhi and PG, though.
I mean, they offensive players. They're offensive players, man. So when you think
But the
about
claw,
that, like
I mean,
the claw, yeah, it means that you can hold the ball and you can not that you pause, but not that you can
Right.
just be an automatic offensive starter or an automatic
okay, right.
defensive player. You know what I mean? So
You
it
make
makes
the
it
I mean,
Difficult.
but he was a good defensive player, though.
He is.
Right. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying? So
the point is that he can't. Maybe that's not the team for him.
maybe.
No,
maybe.
yeah.
Maybe.
So I guess real quick, with
I wish he could come to Milwaukee. Bring his ass to Milwaukee, Joe.
when are other cats like Sam Cassell and them cats when they're gonna start getting looks? Sam
I think
Cassell- and
Doc
that
even
Milwaukee
mentioned
too,
That's
that.
what I'm
I
talking
think Doc
about
might
right
even
there.
mention
That's what I'm
that
talking about.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Chauncey
Yeah.
Big Billups, you know what I mean? When
Yeah.
cats like,
Nah, Sam Cassell. He
Nah, it's
needs.
time.
but both of them, all them cats, you know.
It's time. It's warranted. They all definitely warrant the shot. You know, like, so it's definitely time. And you know, to quickly switch gears.
Hold on. Tony B, hold on. Let's talk about that Sam Cassell joint. You don't think so? Like, I think Sam Cassell is worth talking about.
Yeah, he's.
man.
I mean,
Nah,
I think he's
yeah.
an assistant coach on the Clippers.
He is an assistant coach, man.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But the motherfucker stutter like nobody's business.
I didn't even really
So-
see.
I didn't even know he.
Oh yeah,
Something
know that,
probably like
man.
that.
Maybe if we can find some way to cut into this Beto where you show this motherfucker Sam Cassell. No, that nigga cannot talk.
Right.
Like his ability to inspire a team is there, but when you want to do
The translation
it,
of it,
like, the translation is fucked.
and you only get like a 30 seconds for the timeout.
I was gonna say, what's the timeout time? He
That was
can't
a
get
bad
with
one.
it.
Yeah. But with LeBron still playing, I mean, I know you're pulling up some notes real quick, but with LeBron playing right now, I hear Cat. I mean, I already think I have my opinion, but I mean, he's obviously at the table with Mike, but clearly
He's not at the table at Mike no more, man.
he's past
think-
Mike.
Yeah, he's past Mike. There's no question about it, man. LeBron James is the best player that the NBA has ever seen, man.
But you think from a greatest of all time status, like in terms of overall, not just the greatest physical player, accomplishments, achievements,
Tangibles.
team, you know, from all of that
Bro,
all around perspective.
I don't think there's nobody even touching LeBron.
So it doesn't matter what happens in the finals, win, lose, or draw in the finals. You're saying LeBron is
Yeah, it
above
doesn't
Mike
matter,
in a-
man.
in
At
a
this
conversation.
point, like, I think we know. I don't know what day it is, but
Thursday,
today
the
is
1st of
Thursday,
October.
1st of October. Happy birthday to my son, Noah.
shout out to Noah.
Shout out to
Young
Noah,
Noah.
100%. But no, LeBron James, and I told y'all this last week, he's the best physical specimen athlete that the league has ever seen.
Yeah, I could maybe say the best physical specimen athlete, yeah, for sure. But it's either I still feel Mike, a definite LeBron, and then I'm a probably Kareem.
Hold on.
Kareem.
So,
Well,
what
so I was going to ask you,
where does
would
Mike
you
compare?
Mike is still one.
put still one?
Still
So I was
one
going
to
to
me.
ask you,
Mike is still one compared to LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron's definitely right there. But to me, and I grew up here watching.
So what
He's
is it?
from
What is
Chicago,
it?
That's what I'm
so it
saying.
don't matter.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if he
No,
if
it does
he
matter.
wins, if LeBron wins this time, what does that do for your opinion on that?
I mean, it shows that anywhere he goes, that he definitely elevates the game of every the team. Period. You know, what I mean, Miami, Cleveland, the first run, obviously L.A. You know, he went down last year. He pulled his hamstring or whatever happened, and they were 4 games up, and
I mean, look at how
They
many
didn't
times
make
he's
the
made
playoffs.
the
when
That's the only year since like 2010, right?
and then he-
that
then he
they've
sat
made the
out.
playoffs,
Hey,
right?
Rex.
So
LeBron has played with different teams and
Factual.
take them to the finals every
yes,
year.
all day. I agree.
Mike has stayed with one team and they brought people in to help him. LeBron went to go help other teams. So how do we even like?
Well, they evolved those teams around him, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but how do we even think about how LeBron sits in this situation, man? Like,
I still think there's a lot of intent. There's a killer instinct. There's intangibilities. There's just that moment. I mean, LeBron turns it on anytime, obviously. But it's
Anytime.
still, yeah.
That's true.
You know, Mike. I mean, there's still just. I mean, it's still just the bit difference and a different player. So I don't even think Mike is just so dominating in one aspect, whereas LeBron to me, I think, makes everybody just so much better.
see, that's
All
what,
right,
that's
so-
what. Hold on, Tony. I'm sorry. We're gonna switch subjects. I get you. But the thing about Chicago motherfuckers is that they're gonna always say Michael Jordan.
Not necessarily.
Not-
'cause I know,
that's
I
not
know a lot of
necessary.
I know a lot of.
Every Chicago motherfucker we ever meet is always gonna say Michael Jordan.
Not at all.
You a
I could
damn
probably name
lie.
3 or 4
They're gonna
right
say
now.
D Rosen.
Not at all.
Man, you tripping, bro.
Not at all.
What they gonna say then?
Some say LeBron, some say Kobe.
You a goddamn lie. Ain't nobody
The
from
majority
Chicago
say-
gonna
the
ever
majority
say
Majority
say-
Kobe.
said
majority
Mike,
say
100%.
The majority
yes.
say Mike.
95%
The majority
gonna say
Mike.
Mike,
So
bro.
rings aside, guys. Rings aside. What are we saying? What are we saying?
I think
where
we're saying
LeBron is
that,
Mike?
man, like
You're
people
saying
from
he's one
Chicago-
regardless.
I think what we're saying, Tony B, is that people from Chicago will never, ever give anybody props outside of Michael Jordan. Man.
I mean, I can say personally for Rex, I've seen him start to give LeBron his props more and more as the years progress, right? So, not saying that you didn't initially, but you was definitely heavy for. Nah, it's just Mike.
It's just Mike.
But now
But
it's
it's
like
undoubtable.
It's always been Mike for them.
no. But then he started saying like and correct me if I'm wrong that you got it. It's definitely LeBron in that same
Yo,
conversation.
LeBron
surpassed
leads
Kobe.
every
Yeah.
statistic in the NBA. Every statistic. Except, I think it's like assist.
Scoring.
I think it's assist.
He'll never touch assists and steals just because.
I think it's steals.
Okay,
'Cause
so-
Jordan had steals, right? 'Cause
No,
he-
it's Stockton.
for the NBA.
Yeah.
It might be.
That'd be yeah.
I'll
I
check
used
that-
to
I'll check
love.
that in a second.
Yo, Stockton on NBA Live. Whoo, he
I
was
think
a
it's
beast.
Stockton, and I feel like Jason Kidd.
Remember playing with Stockton on NBA Live and NBA 2K? Stockton was.
I never played with them, G.
On 2K, you played with
yeah.
the Jazz?
Played
Oh
with
no,
Utah, bro.
on
It
NBA
is
Live.
John Stockton and then
No.
Jason Kidd and then Jordan.
Nah, NBA Live. I did play with Utah.
see?
With
Also keep-
it was Stockton. Hold on, what was his
Malone.
homeboy? Paxson.
Malone.
No,
Time out,
it
time
wasn't.
out,
No, it
time
wasn't
out.
Paxson. No, hold on.
Time
Tony
out. We
B.
don't want to talk about Stockton and Paxson. We're talking about Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
No,
So I need to know the final question here is what can he do to bridge that gap if it's not him winning this championship for,
He
somebody
about to
that's a
win
Jordan
it.
fan?
He about to win it.
I think when he ultimately retires, he'll. I mean, he's played longer than Mike. I mean, the body of work is just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's
17 years,
so it's
right.
17. Mike retired, came back, played 13 total, whatever. You know what I mean? So all those different things factor in. But essentially, LeBron could become the greatest player by the time when he retires. Essentially,
LeBron is the greatest player right now.
arguably, yeah. But what'll really probably validate it is this ring this year, and then a couple more years, and essentially the man's probably going to have the scoring title. So he's going to be the all-time points leader. And now he's got 4. Potentially he's going to have, 4 rings? 5 rings? He's got 2, 3. What's he got? 3 rings right now?
3, I believe.
So it'll be
yeah.
potentially 4 rings, all types of MVPs, and essentially the scoring leader. So then you almost have to, you know what I mean? Mike's still Mike.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, he's got 3, so you can't. That's always that 3 and 6 comparison. But yeah, I think the gap
But now the
is
scoring
supposed to
leader-
be bridged if it's not been bridged already.
There's other things that LeBron's definitely been that go to bridge that gap. Yeah, Mike's got 6 rings and this and that, you know what I mean? And LeBron's got losses in the finals and all that, but it's not apples. It's not quite apples.
It's not apples to oranges, but we can
Yeah.
consensus agree that he's
Yo,
bridged
it
the
is
gap.
it
He's
is
bri-
apples and oranges, man.
It is apples to oranges.
Like,
I'm saying
let's-
it's not the same thing.
What do you mean?
Because it is not the same player.
They're not the same player, but I think we can say consensusly that he has bridged that gap, and if he
the credibility is earned.
yes, and if he wins a championship now, it's hard to say with the other intangibles.
And then becomes a scoring leader and all that. It's,
Well, let's think about this, man. LeBron is what? 6'8", 220, 230. Mm-hmm. How do you even try to figure out what that player is?
You can't.
I mean, I guess we have to see. Let's see.
They got a
let's see
game
what
tomorrow
happens
night.
with the
We got to
let's
see,
what
man.
happens with
Like,
the finals.
somebody
We'll come
that
back and revisit
somebody
this
that
conversation.
size is amazing.
Yeah. Yo, so something we touched on last week. We touched on Kanye, right? And him tweeting out his whole record contract and everything, right? So I want to go back to that real quick, right? Because he said it was a call to action, right? For, like a wake up call for the industry type thing. He talked about owning your own masters. And I think he talked about either giving his good music artists their publishing or their masters back. And saw Big Sean and people were chiming in about that. Aubrey, you brought up a really great point when you mentioned that question that Buddy asked us about, do y'all own your own ideas as creators in advertising? So I want to go back to that. And Rex, you also said something important in that conversation too about once our ideas are on the table, that it's assumed that the ideas are gone, right? That's no longer our idea, that it's now owned by the agency or owned by the brand that we're working for or working with, right? Aubrey, but you were talking about Kanye saying, nah, that's my shit. You said you could lease it for a year, right?
Yeah, I think that conversation is that's a real deep conversation, right? And because I have a job, and I ain't gonna say where I work for, but I think when you offer ideas on the table, who owns them, right? And I've always learned from the OGs that when you put an idea on the table, the client owns it, right?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you put it on there, because that's what we billing our hours to, but
Technically, they paid for that.
To pay for
they
it.
pay for
Whether
that.
I
They pay
selected
for
it
that
or
time.
not, I
Yeah.
paid for that.
That's
right?
a fact.
And
That's a
based on
fact.
our contracts, right? Mm-hmm.
You
bound
agreed to
it.
submit this based on
Based on
this.
that. Based on that, right? And Aubrey, that's something else you
Yeah,
mentioned was
yeah.
you said like you talked about, I think you touched about it briefly about the contracts we sign as creatives when we go to agencies or brands, right? So I remember us talking about this, but go in on that. Break that down, like the importance of looking at those contracts and not even just looking at the contracts, but
Ooh,
like
Tony B, you just put me in
structuring
a-
your
you-
contract.
You just put me in a bad situation, homie. But I think it's a real situation, right? So I think what it is, man, is that when we, as creatives, whether you're a writer, an art director, a
Thinker.
promotional person, an experiential
Strategist,
person,
whatever,
an experience, actually more experiential person. I think it's more about like, how do we own our ideas? And it's hard because once you put it out there, you want to have recognition for saying like, hey, I'm showing y'all motherfuckers what I can do. I'm showing y'all like how we can like flip this idea and make some money off of it. But at the same time, like, we're giving them business ideas.
Yeah.
And nobody is saying, or the agency isn't saying like, hey, we own this. This is our intellectual property. You know what I mean? Like,
You're
and
saying
that-
the agency's saying they do own it.
No, the agency never owns it. The agency is a whore.
A medium.
Yeah, it's a whore. They're a whore.
It's a toll booth.
Yeah, we giving up pussy.
But that's what I'm saying. Once we
Pause.
sign these contracts, especially if we blindly sign in a contract, just like it's your work contract, you're signing it, and since we're creatives, like, is that something like you mentioned this about like making sure like even like structuring your own contract, right? When you're starting at a company, right?
Yeah,
So
you can't just sign a regular contract.
So, like, how do you, I mean, I guess that's the thing. Like, how would you say, how do you protect your intellectual property that way? Like, so.
I don't think we can, Tony.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
Because
man.
it's either, I mean, you're not that, not you personally or anybody sitting in here, but you're not that dope unless you're just like that guy where my contract says anything that comes out of my mouth, you guys can't use unless I produce or something.
Right.
There's almost going to be no way that comes
I don't
about.
know if there's a way to do it right now.
And it's like, if I'm sitting here and not using me or you, but if I'm sitting here and I hear this at the table and I'm like, yo, that's some ill shit. You might flip it. You might not. I don't know. Or vice versa. I say something, next thing you know, somebody's like, yo. Or you might even have a similar idea. Who's to say that you didn't? And I was like, yo, I was thinking about that shit. And that, what he just said right there, oh, man, I'm going to turn it green. And now I'm, or whatever.
Yeah.
It can work in any of those ways. But then back to what you were saying, it's like, in your scope, and not yours personally, but when the assignment comes, it's like, yeah, the deliverable is going to be 3, 5, whatever, X, Y, ideas, concepts, scenarios,
And
synopsis.
that's the fucked up part, Rex. Because we sit around the table and we all just chopping it up with a client. What's to say they're not recording?
They're taking all that shit.
Oh, they
man.
definitely
Yeah,
are.
I'm saying, like,
Definitely are.
you know what I mean? Like, what's to say that they not recording this? And we're sitting here like, yo, oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this, you could do that.
I've learned.
And they're not recording.
You know
or
what?
they are recording, and then all of a sudden, have you guys ever been involved in a situation, man? Tony B, I know I'm going off the edge here.
Okay.
But have you ever been in a situation where you presented an idea and the client seemed completely uninterested,
Yes.
and then they do that shit?
And they're like, I love that one.
Yes. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Now, ideas, though, like, I think, it goes back to that, like, the idea of owning your own shit, right? Like, it's funny to me that, Jay said, start talking about the Masters part, because it just made me think when he started talking about it, the hook on No Hook, or the line on No Hook
No
on
Hook.
American Gangster, when he was like, own your own masters. All right. And then, he's talking about that. How it, to me, I feel like my ideas are my masters. You know what I'm saying? Like, aside from music, as a creative, as a idea guy, you know what I'm saying? As a strategist, like, I feel like that's how I feel. Like when we were talking last time, I was saying, like, if you throw an idea to one brand and they don't get it,
I'm
and they don't do it, you
rotating it again.
100%, right? And it's gonna get done because it's a good idea and somebody's gonna figure it out, right?
Somebody's gonna understand
Someone's gonna
it.
fund it, right?
Yes,
right.
Right. So again, like, to me, my ideas are my masters. So like when I leave a company, I feel like I already own my masters, right?
The problem is we taking a salary.
Right. In exchange
the
for
problem.
that. That's
We
part of
taking the
your
salary.
That's your exchange. So it's like, yo, in exchange, you specifically you or me or you're gonna do this to receive this. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily in that threatening of a format, but it's like, this is what you signed up to do.
That's what you signed up for.
And if you can't produce, sooner or later, it's like, all right, well, I need somebody to replace you. So, there probably is, I guess we just haven't really tapped that way, and I don't know if any...
So the idea was we took it to them niggas. We gave them the idea of the B-sides. These niggas cut us out the fucking deal, and then they made a whole concert series based off the B-sides. But it's a fact. I have the paperwork and I have the fucking
that's
ideas.
cool. That's cool.
All
I
right,
mean,
so,
let's just talk about, like, again, it was in general. Like, are those so, like, so
Tony
you,
B, I'm a creative.
you feel
So
like
when
so you feel like those are your masters, your idea.
Tony
they
B,
saw.
all I'm saying, bro,
and
is
you
that
want recruit for your masters. Is that what
no,
you're saying?
I don't want to recoup. But I want motherfuckers to acknowledge the fact that they stole some shit.
Ain't nobody gonna.
Nobody's
do that
ever gonna
in
tell you
corporate
that.
America.
Nobody's going to ever say that.
Never going to say
And that's
that.
the fact of the matter, right? But as a creative, you want to be acknowledged for your ideation. You want to be acknowledged for the ideas you come up with.
That's what you want.
That's what you
That's
want.
not what you're going to get.
It will never be what you get.
No, they might be like, that's some cool shit.
So,
Next.
so to that point, Tony B, what you're talking about is that how do we own our masters?
Yes.
And the masters being, i.e., our ideation
Yes.
and our thoughts and our big ideas. How do we own that? I don't know if you can, man. When you're getting paid a salary to come up with ideas.
I feel that.
I don't know how you
That's
do
what
it.
I'm saying. Almost you can't, because that's what your exchange is to produce or provide these services, concepts, ideas
for this pay.
for that every 2 weeks.
For a salary.
For a salary.
That shit is fucked up, Joe. That shit is fucked up.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yo, that shit is fucked up.
That's how it works. Yeah.
It does. That's how
then
it works.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then to your point, it's once you give an idea, because now the client is giving X, Y, Z, 20, 50, 200K to your agency, to your larger team for 3 or 4 specific things, and in there it says we don't even have to use any of these. Back to what we were saying with that being said, it's like in the end of the what do you call it, the brief, the creative brief or the scope, it generally says right in there, we don't have to buy any. We don't have to
buy
use.
any of this shit,
We're buying them, but we don't have to use. You're giving me this because you've turned it in.
No, they pay for their time.
So let me ask you this: Is there like a statute of limitations on this,
How many ideas?
On these ideas,
Well,
right?
now that's back to your agency directors now.
Right? Because you said let me lease it for, you can, like Kanye was saying, like basically you could let me, I'm gonna let you lease this idea for a year, right? So and Mark, you were saying the same thing, right? So what is the term on that shit?
Or
is there
or
a
Tony
term?
B,
Because it's our
how do-
idea at the end of the day. That
Tony
shit is
B,
my
or how do
my
we change it,
masters.
man? Like, I think the question becomes, how do you
buy your masters back if there are ideas that you're selling to people?
I don't think we can look at it as
think it's part of it,
masters.
but
Like,
it's
how
part
do
of
we think about, how do we change the ideas that we come up as creatives
Oh,
that
I
we
can tell
sell
you
to
that.
agencies that also, and then in turn sells it to clients?
I mean, I can tell you that, like, because the way I look at it is there's certain instances where I'm only gonna give you
Enough.
maybe 70 to 75% on the idea side, right? And that 75% is probably stronger than the rest of your team's 100%.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But
right.
at the same time, I'm doing that strategically, right? Because I know, this
you just giving them the tip.
this client doesn't. Yeah, this client doesn't. right.
So
Just a tip Tuesday. Shout out,
so Tony,
Michelle
so
Hope.
then how do you show your worth at an agency if you don't give them the full idea?
You have to learn how to.
Help me understand that, because I really want to know that, right? So if you're working at an agency and you want to make a certain amount of money and you want to be praised for your ideation, how do you sell that idea without giving them everything? Right? Because you don't want to give them everything. If your idea is this big, right? I'm showing my hands real high. But how do you show them how big your idea is without giving them everything? And you can still own it yourself.
I think the key there,
You know what I mean?
The technique is, I mean, without pulling the curtain back too far, like, I think it's just about us knowing that we have if we get a brief, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna come up with 7 to 10 different ways in, right? Like, so, like, again, depending on the brief that I'm doing that for, whoever that agency or brand I'm doing that for, I'm gonna give you what I think, like, your worth is, right? Because I'm giving it to you from a cultural perspective, right? Everything we're doing is from a cultural perspective, right? Like, that we're giving from an ideation standpoint. So if it's a brand or a company that I know that doesn't really care for the culture, they just trying to do some shit to be cool or whatever, or just hit a trending topic or whatever, I'm going to give you that 70, 75%, and it's going to be dope enough for you because y'all are some nerds anyway.
We should never give them our full ideation.
I kind of heard some cats saying shit like that before too.
Then that's fucked up.
I'm not giving you the whole idea. I'll give you scenarios, and I don't know. It's weird. Like a while ago, when like putting things together, it's like that's way too much you're giving them. That's way too much detail. That's way too much.
I'd rather save those ideas for like the 3 of us to execute, because I'm gonna give it to a company that's
100%.
gonna have a creative and experiential and a PR person anyway, right? So why couldn't we do it instead of giving it to a company that's not gonna do it right, and then they're gonna dumb it down and all that shit too,
That's
right?
a fact.
So and I think just going back to what wrapping this up, what you were saying about the salaries and everything too. Like, we do this for a salary for these companies and brands, but at the end of the day, y'all still paying us for our dopeness. Like y'all still paying us because
a
we
fact.
are the culture. So
a fact.
at the end of the day, you need us more than we need you. We need to check, right?
Well, it's a mutual, yeah.
As you know,
It's a mutual relationship.
People in the workforce, right? But yeah, it's a mutual relationship. But you ain't cool with us
You
bringing
ain't cool
you the
without
cool.
us, right
Yeah.
here.
100%.
You ain't
100%.
fucking with us.
100%.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, all right, I must shut up.
No, you with it. You with it. No, but Aubrey, speaking of salaries. Let's switch gears right fast, man.
I like salaries. Bro. I like that money.
I want to talk to you about salaries from a different perspective, though, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears real quick. Dr. Dre and his wife, Nicole Young, they're getting a divorce. Now, she's asking for $2 million a month in spousal support.
Yeah, that shit is ridiculous. That's
crazy.
Yeah,
You
crazy.
heard her. Hey, you heard how she broke it down, though, Rex?
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Tony
Let me
B. Break it down, yo. This shit is ridiculous. Where'd you hear this shit?
So this $2 million a month is broken down as $10,000 a month for laundry and cleaning.
Yeah.
$10,000
$10,000 for laundry.
and cleaning.
Hold on, laundry.
So she don't even know how to operate a whirlpool.
Yo, I mean that means
A whirlpool like Maytag, not a.
yo, that means she's getting like T-shirts.
I mean, like you get
dry
like
cleaned and
underwear,
shit.
like you got probably some little skimpy ass underwear. What are you getting pressed?
You know what I'm saying?
You'd
Like,
be better
I mean,
just to buy new shit every month more than paying 10 G's to have somebody clean that shit.
This shit is crazy.
But go ahead.
Bro. And speaking of clothes,
Hold on, come on, Tony B.
$135,000 for clothes. Also,
I don't think I've spent
month.
That's what I said.
$135,000 on my life in clothes.
word
On my life.
Like,
And I got some
buying new
Yeezys
clothes?
on right
for
now.
clothes a month. A month. Word. You know what I'm saying?
And I still ain't hit that
You know what I'm saying?
130.
You got the gumball cap and joint
know what I
on
mean?
right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, $60,000 a month for education. So this includes tuition and living expenses for the kids, right?
Hold on. Education for who?
That's like
So
a
they
whole
got
community.
They got two. I believe they got two kids together, right? I think one or both are in college. I'll double check that in a second.
But he says, well, just repeat that. He says $60K a month for school.
A month for education, tuition, and living expenses.
Shit, I went to school 4 years and I don't think I paid $60K total.
Man, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Well, I know I
I
didn't pay
can't say that because I'm still paying mad.
Well, I'm still paying,
student
but
loans. Yo, this is where it gets
Who's
even
canceling
crazier,
them loans
guys.
out?
Yo, fellas,
Hey, what up? What about?
time out. This is where it's gonna get crazy, Aubrey. 900,000 a month. 900,000.
that's the total.
No, this is for the next. This is for the next.
The next line item.
The next line item, yeah, for entertainment. Yo,
A gang of strippers coming through.
who the fuck are you entertaining
This
for
nigga
900,000? Right. Sound like this. It sound like the stupid Dre video from Doggy Style of the Chronic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, so what I will say, right?
So wait, real quick.
time out. Let me continue the breakdown real quick. 125,000 a month for charitable contributions.
Tony B, you ain't gotta say nothing else.
No, hold
man.
on,
It
hold
don't
on.
matter.
100,000 a month for the mortgage, and $20,000 for telephone, cell phone, and email. Then she asked for another $5 million for her lawyer fees that he paid. So he paid that $5 million for her lawyer fees, right? So that's cool. So now, yo, Aubrey, on top of this,
I would just be like, here's $7 million and call it a day or so, 10 or 20. I don't like.
Nah, so
no, I mean it's more than that though, right? Because on top of that, she's suing him for. She claims that she owns the trademarks to his name, Dr. Dre, and also the fucking Chronic. She says she owns the trademarks to that shit, right? And the suit claims that Dre transferred the trademarks after he kicked her out of the crib, she says, right? And, you know, on his side, he's saying, like, yo, hold the fuck up. Like, I ain't paying none of this shit. I paid the $5 million on the lawyer fees. You live in the mansion that's worth $25 million, he's saying.
Sell it and take the money.
He's
Downgrade.
He's covering her living expenses. Their manager's paying the Black Card Amex joint and all that shit. My question is, like, what is what is fair? I know this is some real rich, really, really rich people shit, but
Yeah.
what
Really,
is
really
fair?
rich people.
What is fair just in general terms, like before we get into the Dre shit, like you know,
That's
Mark,
a
you're
crazy
married,
amount.
like
That's a crazy amount of money.
that's a crazy amount of money.
That's a crazy amount of money.
But what is the other side entitled to in this type of in this situation from a general perspective? Let's not before we get into Dre's situation. Like what does it mean from a regular person situation? Like what is the other side like entitled to if you're the
guess
overall
essentially, what is-
breadwinner like Dre's in this
What's
situation?
what's her involvement been? You know, I mean, I know she's probably had the late nights and the this and the deal with that, but I mean, essentially, if you're speaking about work, I mean, like, this is how. Yes, you help me earn it because you help me take care of X, Y, Z, whatever those X, Y, Z's are. But then I'm like, you weren't in the studio with me. I mean, you made it. You were watching the kids or whatever. Not saying or whatever, but that allowed me to be able to go and do this. Yes, I get that, but like, you weren't in there pushing keys. And you weren't in there like writing raps and turning knobs and shit like that, right?
Yo, Rex, what I
No,
think it is,
definitely
man,
not.
I think it. I agree, 100%. I think what it is more than anything, man, it's like, how do you quantify the worth of your baby mama?
That's what.
That's
That's
true.
More, that yeah.
That's true. Okay,
Right.
so talk about
Which is
that.
really difficult, right? Like, that's a hard thing to quantify, right? Like, but how awesome is it that Tony B, I know you're a single man. And, hey, yo.
That's what I want to hear from you.
Holla at
tell us about it.
TonyB.com and all that. That nigga is ready to go.
Sure
Holla at this
is.
motherfucker. But me and Rex, we you know, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
tell me,
But
break it
with the
down.
Rex Cruz on this, Rex Cruz situation and the Usaki brothers situation, like, how do you quantify what the mother of your children do? You can't buy that.
It's priceless, right?
It's priceless, yo. Like, I'm here with y'all right now.
Where are your kids at? With their mom.
Oh,
What their mom do.
With
the
their mom.
moms.
Yeah.
Like, I can't quantify that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sitting here hanging out with you guys. What time? I don't even know what time. What time is it right now? Hold on, let's see. What time is it, Rex?
7:50, 7:48.
7:48. It's 7:48 p.m. My baby is still up, and she's probably running around acting crazy, right? So we don't have a way to quantify that money.
Because even from your child's perspective, right? From Story's perspective, right? Like you can't even quantify that relationship
Not
aside
at
from just
all.
yours. Like like
Not
Pac
at
said,
all.
ain't no woman alive that can take my mama's place.
Not
Right?
at all. And I can't. Hey, that story, my daughter. Imagine, damn.
Zoe.
No, not Zoe. Zoe's a grown. She's damn
Oh,
near
Mason?
grown. Mason.
Murder
Oh, right,
Mace.
yeah, yeah.
Mason is
Money
a
Mace.
wild. Mason is a wild dude. Can you
Shout out
imagine
Mason.
shout out to Mason. But can you imagine taking care of Mason right now, man? Like, there's a lot of things that happen when you have to take care of children and the father or the mother is not there. Right?
I feel that. Yeah.
So Rex not being there, it's a huge gap. But is it like 40, 50 million?
$80 million worth of a gap?
No.
right.
No, it does not equate to that.
Now, so let me ask
I mean,
you about that.
what's a I guess ex-wife or a kid's mom per hour rating?
Oh boy,
Right?
Now you get into some shit.
No, I mean,
All right, hold on.
right?
Wait, what was
Hold on.
that?
What's the question, Mark?
I was
Go ahead,
saying, I
ask
guess,
that.
what would your kid's mom and or wife ex-wife, what would be her per hour salary, per hour rate?
Per hour rate.
Now you get into some shit. Bro.
How do you do that? You know? Because if it's like, if I do this and I'm at $100, or we're billing at $180 or $200, $250 an hour, is that like $500 an hour?
Yo, the billing rate.
That's what I'm trying to
That's
say.
an interesting way to look
Tony
at
B,
it,
you can't
know?
answer this question. You got to relax.
I'm all ears, man.
He's like, I'm just
I
project
just like how
managing.
I just like how he broke it
Yo,
down
if,
like
if,
that.
If me and Rex was like multi-millionaires, I'm sure it would easily be like
1,000
500
yeah,
an hour.
per hour project.
1,000 an hour. Like, the children of our mothers, man, come on. Like, they They sitting there doing what they do right now.
What I want you to do is compare this, though, the salary that you're saying, like the hourly rate that you would pay them to what, like, say they were at this, like, compare it to your hourly rate. How much more valuable is it versus what you get paid to do?
You can't value it, man. Like, the mother of our children, man, it's an invaluable rate. The fact that we can sit in a fancy studio like this, bro, and have conversations like this and have fun like this and have a couple of drinks and wear masks like this, like, it's bullshit. But at the same time, like, what they do is invaluable, man. Like,
but
it's invaluable.
Would it be $1 million per hour rate? Like,
no, it's not a $1 million
Dr. Dre saying?
Man, you know,
you can't compare it to that.
Nah, and you know what? Shout out to
not to Dre's wife.
No,
not to Dre's wife.
I'm not gonna say fuck Dre's wife because I don't know Dre's wife, but I just think that's a crazy situation. I also saw 50 did kind of say some shit like that, right? Like,
he was disrespectful.
That was mad disrespectful. I felt, right? Like, wasn't it? Like,
I didn't hear what he said.
That's almost like, I mean, I don't know if he's like technically under aftermath anymore, but. That's kind of disrespectful to say to your ex-boss to be like.
He might know her.
He might.
And what I will say, Tony B.
What did he say? I missed it.
What I will say is that, like, I know Dre, right? I know Dre personally, right? And the fact that he has to develop, like, to put money towards something that he's worked towards and not be considered a dickhead is terrible, bro. Like, I see how this dude works. I know how he works. I've seen him work. And the fact that you got to devote half of what you do to put it towards that is absolutely terrible, man. Like, that's terrible.
I feel that, man.
I should just have you buy
it's blood, sweat, and tears that, you know, she was, it's like, you know, it's like the
It's not even that, Tony B. It's just.
It is, though.
It is, but I'm saying at the same time, man, you can't, like, you can't do that, man. That's wrong. Like, just tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you.
And then keep it moving.
And keep it moving.
Man, keep it moving.
Don't bust me up 100 a month. Just be like,
do
yo,
that,
here's
yo.
20 mil. I'm gonna put in some investments by index fund or some kind of life.
So wrap that up
Hey,
real
Rex,
quick.
you can't just tell me that you need 1.5 million.
Give me a house,
right.
2 cars, and pay for my joints.
To go back
nuts,
to go back to just kind of wrap this up real quick, like what is that, like, you know, again, you said you can't, like, quantify it.
That's a good
but
conversation.
what is it, like, you know, like how do you have to quantify that at some point?
I guess
right?
essentially it should
How
be
do you
able
pay
for
your
you to
baby
make.
mama?
Yeah.
You should be, I guess.
What is that?
Well,
You know,
how
do you
going
pay-
back to the salary.
How you pay your baby moms, Rex?
Right?
Yo.
Well, it's like
Yo, Rex and Aubrey, going
How
back to the salary, and not
How
saying
you
you
pay your
put them
baby
on
moms,
salary,
Rex?
but it's essentially what the salary. What is a fair salary?
Is it a percentage of what you're worth? Is it a percentage of what you're earning? You know what I mean, in this? But I don't know. Or is it just like, yo, you got to have a house comparable to where you're at, a vehicle, and similar amenities? I think there's got to be a scale of it, you know? And
I don't know,
I
Rex.
feel that.
I don't know.
Because, I
Like,
mean, you don't want to.
How do you make baby moms cool?
But it's like, but what if she wasn't doing shit? Now you picked up not rent, that's your fault. But more what I'm saying is, like, you had her living in the hills, and it's like, you can't just have her like, all right, nah, I'm going to kick you to the curb, and you sleeping in a shelter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Staying at La Quinta Inn.
So
Right, you know what I mean?
Like,
Under the
with
not
the kids,
disrespecting,
yeah.
but like have him out there loose like Delonte West or some shit. You can't do that.
So I think the question becomes, man, like, how do you take care of your kid, right? Is it baby boy,
Set
baby
up some
girl,
funds.
whatever it is. Like, how much do you want them to be taken care of? And then the question becomes, then, how do you know if they're gonna be taken care of?
Well, then you also have to show them. Show them how to do it, and then hopefully it's not like, all right, I'm divorcing her, peace, I'll never see you again.
But
Right,
you want them to be
right.
straight, right? You want your baby boy or your baby girl to be straight, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm
So
just
you
then
do.
what do
So,
you give
so
them?
is that what it is basically? So you do whatever. And if you have a shorty involved in everything, y'all have. That's your baby mom, right? So regardless if you're together or not, at the end of the day, is what we're saying. Like, you whatever.
It's still
what's
your
fair
responsi-
is you take care.
It's
of
still
them.
your
Yeah.
responsibility.
You hold them down. Like you got to figure. You
figure
have
out-
to figure out what that looks like mutually, and you want probably argue about it, go back
I mean,
and forth.
you got to do it more strategically,
is
so
it-
it's not just you coming out $100 every time. It's like, yo, he
Yeah,
needs
but
shoes.
is it
Here's
ever-
200.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
I need
There's
shoes.
got to be a
ever-
common
Here's 200.
understanding. Like, oh,
Yeah, I'm not a
what's
fucking
reasonable
ATM.
and what you, yeah.
Is it ever mutual though? That's the problem.
That's what I'm asking.
Was it ever mutual?
I don't think it is ever mutual.
Was it ever
bro.
mutual?
I don't think it's
you know
ever
what I mean?
mutual.
Like, but was it ever?
Let's move on to the next subject, man.
But you
No,
see that
but staying on relationships though, but shifting gears a little bit though. The U.S.
That's some
population.
bullshit. That shit pissed me off right there. Yo, Rex.
Got to be careful.
I'm ready. I'm ready to fight on it. I don't know who to fight. I'm gonna fight somebody.
Somebody
in this
getting it.
motherfucker, yo.
I know somebody can fight.
Word.
Boom.
stand by, stand down.
Stand by, stand out. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
No, but yo,
Christ. Jesus
I want to
Christ.
stay. I want to stay on relationships though, but just shift gears slightly, right? So the population is diversifying here, right? So like, they're saying, the studies were saying like by 2050 it was expected like the whole shift was going to happen where it's going to be the majority is going to be multicultural America, right? The demographic, right? Now they're saying like a new study came out based on a new census, like from the U.S. Census from this year, from 2020. A new study came out and said that that's happening like at a faster pace than they thought, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I just want to read the stat
Have you
real
looked
quick. It
around
said-
lately?
Bro, the stat says from the census, they estimate that nearly 4 out of 10 Americans right now identify with a race or ethnic group other than white, right? Already, right now, right? Now, side note,
That's current.
Currently.
40% people are identify with something outside of
outside of
Caucasian.
that right now.
Yeah.
Right now, right? Our generation diversifying, right? So like a lot of interracial relationships, there are biracial children, multicultural kids. Like that's what's creating this new demographic that's going to be the majority
That's a
in
fact.
2050, right? So,
So to that point, Tony B, and we talked about this earlier today, right? We were like, yo, like, what do we feel about interracial relationships, right? Like, how do we sit with that, right? Like, I know you are. What's your nationality?
I know you are.
I'm not trying to be funny, Joe. I'm not trying to be funny.
No,
I'm not trying to be funny.
It's all good. It's all good. No, I'm Sri Lankan, but
Sri Lankan, right? Like, this motherfucker ain't got too many opportunities to find
Shout
a
out to
Sri
Lanka.
Lankan woman.
no,
Right?
that's what I want to actually get
Not
into.
on the west side
Aubrey.
of
Like,
Chicago.
that's
Not
what I
where
want to
he
get into.
lives. No, he ain't got no choice. Yeah,
No, that's what I.
Hey Rex, he only fucking with the. Yo, you already know what he fucking with. I ain't gonna say it on the microphone, but you know this
Yo,
nigga
man,
fucking
look,
with.
look. That's what I want to get into, man. Like I think before I ask you guys on the flip side, like since you brought it up, I think for me, I'm a second generation immigrant kid. You know what I'm saying? So
Sri
like
Lankan.
for people, yeah, I'm from Sri Lanka. Shout out to Sri Lanka.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. But
Over there?
It's a
where?
There?
it's the number one tourist destination in the world. Shout out to Sri Lanka. And pray for
Shout
Sri
out to
Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
He's like,
Yo,
wherever that motherfucker at.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got some bad broads over there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, for people like me, for second generation immigrants, like it was also like, dating when we were growing up, like you said, was about proximity and social circles, right? So I'm a Sri Lankan kid that was growing up in Indiana, you know what I'm saying? So like you said, I didn't have a pool of Sri Lankan girls to choose from when I was dating. You know what I'm saying? Like that weren't like my cousins or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I had family in Sri Lanka or in Indiana, but I didn't have people outside of my family in our community there.
So Tony B, let me
So
let me ask you this.
hold on. I had to. So like that, I think that's what you need to look at first and foremost is proximity creates like who you. Not creates, influences who you're
Friends with and date.
who you're dating and who you're attracted to, just because it's who you're around. So
It's my
obviously,
common thing that I continuously see.
right.
Yeah.
So obviously, I was never dating within the Sri Lankan circle because I didn't have a Sri Lankan circle there to even a community. Right? It was a very small group of people there. and it was all family. So like my pool of like people within that culture were like Indian girls or like South Asian girls. You know, like you know that was the cultural
The closest
pool
that you could get in the pool.
in the pool, right? So, but as a kid growing up in a Sri Lanka kid growing up in Indiana, even that pool is small. So
So when, as growing up as a Sri Lankan kid, did you have any American intuity as far as like, did you want like a fat booty chick? Did you want like a chick that wore makeup? Or did you want a chick that wore weave?
I mean, G,
Or a chick that wore high heels?
I grew up down the street.
I'm not trying to be funny, Tony B.
I was born in America. I'm like, so contrary to what you may believe, Aubrey, I am a U.S. citizen. I was born here, so like all of those traits that you're talking about that are like, you know.
I know, but there's something
I have
about
them
you that
also.
is Sri Lankan, right?
Yes.
Like I'm a kid from Milwaukee, but there's something about me that I don't like chicks that come from Chicago, or chicks that come from Indiana.
No, but
You know
I'm
what
saying
mean?
like I
is
didn't.
there something from you that like makes you feel different about women that are not from your culture? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I guess I haven't, like, till I got older, I never really looked at women from my culture like that because
They weren't plentiful. I didn't have
exactly.
access.
So, like, the girls I was looking at were the girls I was going to school with,
Like,
right?
yo, I
so,
got
like,
these 10 girls here.
So you like white broads?
I'm gonna find the dopest girl.
I went to
So
a...
Tony B like white broads?
Nah, man, I went to a very... yo,
You like white
Yo,
broads?
time out.
You like white
Time out.
broads?
I went to a very...
Everybody's
I went to a very diverse school in Indiana, in Marion, Indiana. Shout out to Marion, Indiana. Shout out to
Mary, Indiana.
Shout out to the Marion Giants. Shout out to Zebo. Yo, that school was, when I grew up in Indiana, that shit was mad diverse.
That's right,
man. There
nigga,
was,
out.
There was, there was Asians, there was black, white,
No fat booties though in that.
Hispanic.
motherfucker.
All,
There wasn't no fat
all across-
asses in that.
Oh man, it
motherfucker,
was
though.
mad fat asses.
It was mad fat ass.
Don't disrespect.
Hold on, where the fat asses
don't
come from?
disrespect her.
Hold on, where the fat asses came from, Tony B?
Indiana,
Not
bro.
no goddamn Sri Lankans.
He just told you
Man,
it wasn't
why-
enough of that.
How you know? You don't even know where Sri Lanka is.
Nah, I
motherfucker.
never heard of Sri Lanka before I met you, bro.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
man, so you don't even know no Sri Lanka broad. So I mean,
Nah, but where did you see fat asses for the first time?
Indiana.
no, but
Hold on, where
this
did you
is-
see
this
fat
is-
asses, Tony B?
This fat
When's
ass
the first time you
conversation is
saw a fat
irrelevant.
ass?
We're talking
no,
about
it's very relevant.
Aubrey. No, it's not. We're talking about interracial relationships, and
And that's
again,
part
like
of
what
it.
I was saying
Correct.
is, what I was saying is, I didn't have the option to. I had like interracially dated was my only option, so I want to ask you, like, you know, Rex, like you have been in an interracial relationship for longer than
Forever ever.
most people.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so I want to ask you, like, the shit, like, on that side, like, you know, outside of the Asian side, we're talking about, you know, black men in America, right? So, on that side, like, you know, 50 to 60 years ago, that shit wasn't even accepted, right? Like, at all, right? But, you know, and we think about it, like, in that perspective, like, it wasn't accepted so long ago. But shit, that shit wasn't accepted in not half of the places, but in a lot of places in this country 20 to 30 years ago,
Right.
15 to 10 years ago in some places. So what has been your experience in an interracial relationship since, you know, from the time, like, you know, the era when it started?
You're acting like I'm 75.
Progression. Not
Like I
progressive,
transcended
not
across civil
progressive,
rights
you
times
know,
or something.
Not progressive. I mean, Mark,
I'm just fucking with you,
Mark
but
was
yeah.
born in 1965.
1934. You know, back in the day when I was coming across Selma with, you know, me and Dr. King, and I had. No, I'm joking.
He in
but
that picture, if you
No, no, no.
if you look
That Tony
close.
B like fat booties.
No, I mean,
What
I
was
don't
that,
know.
Aubrey?
He said you like big booty hoes.
Oh,
that
yeah,
wasn't
of
nice.
course.
Please cut that out.
Don't cut it.
Yeah, nah, but that,
Go ahead, Rex.
I want to ask you that. Like,
No, you know what? I don't even know how to respond because
how has it evolved? I guess, or has it evolved?
And
Well, personally, I don't think I've ever had any. I mean, I've black across the board, all mixed, similar to yourself. But I don't think I don't think I've personally, at least, never physically been confronted. Not saying anybody has never said anything in the back or not to me, and of course, but I've never had to like pull up and be like, oh. And I don't think I've ever put myself in those awkward types of scenarios.
So I mean,
Rex,
wait.
let me ask you this, like, and respect the pops.
Yes.
Give him a minute. Let's give 2 minutes to pops.
Oh, no, yeah.
Shout out Big George.
Big George. 2 minutes for that, or 2 seconds for that. So, knowing your culture and how proud you are of your culture and where you come from moms and dad, how was it when you brought a Latina woman into your family, man?
Oh, it was like cool.
Word?
Yeah, because actually my parents would say that they never knew racism until they came here.
No, wait,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Rex, you just made a great point. I want to talk about how that's a big point, right? The cultural element, right? Like, Mark, you are one of the proudest cultural. You celebrate your culture so much, right? Like,
Moms make good food. Yo,
your
Mom
family
showed me a whole
celebrates the
different
culture
world,
so
yo.
much.
Yeah,
Your family
yeah.
celebrates the culture so much. So
That's right.
talk about that real quick. Like, how important culture is to your family, right, and to you.
But yes,
The Jamaican culture. Shout out Jamaica.
So I think, but for me, it was prior to me. My dad actually had. I think you both know my brother. Remember, my older brother.
Yeah.
One of my brothers is biracial.
From London.
London,
Yeah. So I mean, with that being said, so it was. I probably didn't even realize he was biracial until, as stupid as it sounds, until I was probably damn near an adult, like in a teen. I mean, I knew it just light, but I mean, there's niggas that are light, so I just never really. Because I'm not close with his mom. I didn't, you know what I mean?
That's your brother, so you.
Yeah,
just your brother.
And honest to God, I never even knew it, as dumb as this sounds. I never even knew that he was my half brother until into the teen, because he was always just my brother. You know what I mean? And it was just always, oh, it's you, me, and him. You know what I mean? So to me, it was just always like, yo, bro's just light.
Right.
As dumb as that sounds, right?
No, it's real though.
But
Keep in mind though, he also had dreadlocks that were long, so it wasn't like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now his hair is cut, so it looks a little curly and shit. But like when I was young, he always had dreadlocks, and it was just always like, you know what I mean? This long hair. So to me, again, so moral of the story, it never was really looked upon as like different, you know?
Yeah.
And then
felt like it was you guys were the same culture.
It was just the same culture, and he's probably more cultured than I am under the whole Jamaican act. You know, not act, but you know what I mean, like. As a part of it, growing up in London and being a part of that, whereas I grew up obviously here. So, you know, and then I think, you know, as I got older, my older sister married a white guy. So by the time, you know, I even got of age, it was, you know, just kind of like, not saying it wasn't normal, but it was just like, just cats.
It's not normal.
It was just cats. And I had a lot of family, and I mean, obviously in England and Europe, and a lot of, I mean, you've seen it over there. It's pretty diverse. So, like, and again, not meaning it like that, but I mean, since I've been like 4, 5, 6, I've been seeing. That's what I've been seeing is mixed culture.
That's what you've been saying, yeah.
All Jamaican cats, but it's in a mix.
It's
in a mixed culture. It's a mixed skin tone.
Culture, yeah.
A mixed skin tone, but it's always been diverse Jamaican cats.
And real spit, like I never met anybody besides you, Rex. And we can keep it moving, Tony B, because I know you want to keep it moving. And we got to wrap it up. But I had never met anybody black that had, like, Jamaican roots, bro.
Right.
Like, I had never met that. I'm from Milwaukee. So I never seen folk like that before. Milwaukee is motherfuckers from Tennessee, Alabama,
right,
Mississippi. You know what I mean? So I never had that. And when I met your moms, oh, man, that shit reminded me of my mom's.
That's
Rest
love,
in peace.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it reminded me of something that was like innate in black folk culture. You know what I mean? Like that shit was beautiful, man. So thank you, brother. But yeah, Tony B. Yeah.
And this is, I think, a good segue real quick. Then last thing, but I think the craziest thing, like, but growing up, it was like, but the most other cats were like, yo, except, you know, like your homies were like, yo, but why, you're not black. You know?
Right.
And then the white homies were like, but you're really not black. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, what y'all niggas mean? I'm black
y'all
as
mean?
I'm black.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could jump on that, but go ahead.
But like that's what I like. The question I wanted to kind of wrap this up with is,
We gotta wrap this motherfucker up. They about to kick us out.
nah. Listen, man, that's probably because you were running over on random sidebars and shit.
Tony
But,
B, leave me alone.
what I want to ask y'all though, like from a cultural, cultural place, like, do you feel like have we gotten past where there's, people from our generation, like, there might have been like our parents might have had, not necessarily directly our parents, but people from our generation, their parents might have had a cultural thought, like, we might have felt like there was a cultural obligation placed on our back almost, like, to date or marry within your culture. Do you think that that's still like do you remember that? And do you think that's still an issue? And are we past that with like, the generation for like, the next generation?
I think unless you're doing that, it's going to be kind of not awkward, but like back to what you were just saying, 40% or 60% or whatever of most folks are. I mean, I would even just sit back and look at like a good amount of even our friends. I'll even say, it's more specific. My friends, which are a good amount of you guys know, but most of them are somewhat mixed groups. Not even saying like black and white. It could even be mixed in Hispanic or Latino. It could even be mixed within certain Caribbean islands. So it's not Jamaican and Jamaican or African American. It's now, Haitian and Puerto Rican. So with just going back with that, I don't even know, how do you probe down to find somebody, that's not somewhat interracially into it.
I think the hard part, man, is that, and the beautiful thing about three sides to a story, right? Like where we are right now. Like Tony B, I've never met an Indian brother from Indiana. Right.
Indian,
Okay,
though.
I'm not Indian though. So,
All right, Sri Lankan
Okay, cool.
from goddamn Indiana. I never met a brother like that, right? I never met
Shout
a brother
out
that I
T
thought
Turner,
was a
man.
Negro.
But I am a Negro.
Yeah, you are.
See?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my
yeah.
perspective, right? I never met a Negro from Jamaica, right? Which his mama treated me like I was her own son, which is dope. So you have these three people, and I'm a nigga from Milwaukee, from 37th and Capitol. Like,
Shout out to
I've
Rex
never
Mom, by
met
the way.
that, right? So then I can also reverse that on Rex. Rex can say, yo, I never met a nigga from 37th and Capitol. I ain't never met a Sri Lankan nigga. And then Tony B can say, I ain't never met a motherfucker from Jamaica. I ain't never met a motherfucker from Wisconsin.
I was in Jamaica when I was 3 years old.
All right, so then there's two sides to a story, so you got to get it right.
Yeah,
So-
I appreciate what you're saying though, there, Aubrey. Like, I think you're right. Like,
Hold on. Let me finish this thought with Tony B. So I think it's important for us to understand, like, when you listen to this podcast, understand that, like, we all are from different areas and we all don't understand. We all just trying to have a basic understanding of where we come from and like how we make this shit work together. And you know what's crazy, man? Like I was watching the debate the other day, man. Like I just don't know how to figure out
How to
like,
filter that bullshit?
yeah, to filter the bullshit. It's all bullshit. So yeah, Tony, I mean, you got a thought on that?
yo, like when you talk about the filtering of the debate, like, I mean, like, all right, obviously, like, the debate was Tuesday night. Last week, we talked about this debate. Aubrey, when you were talking about the bullshit and filtering it out, we said that this is debate even need to happen, right? Right? So we were saying, like, we knew kind of like what the outcome was going to be. Not to say that we're Miss Cleo, the sidekick and shit, but R.I.P. Miss Cleo. But yo, like, we kind of predicted that shit, right? Like, I mean, we said this shit was gonna be bullshit. Like, it
It was
wasn't gonna
basically
be.
like a shit show. It wasn't. I mean, I tried to watch it.
Did either of you guys have any takeaways or?
Takeaway was how quick can I hit mute?
Damn.
I mean, right, Aubrey, what you think?
Right. Yeah.
The takeaway was how quick can I mean, because even trying to filter this stuff, I mean, it just got annoying.
Nah, I can
Annoying
filter.
is a good
Man, hey, listen, man.
Adjective.
You ever try to fight a motherfucker that can't fight?
And then swinging his hands.
Damn. Word.
That's what
Yes.
that was. Fight a motherfucker that can't fight.
Damn.
Motherfucker punch you on top of your head, punch you in the shins, punch
Scratching
you
you
in
and shit.
Everywhere.
Absolutely
Every
terrible.
direction. Yeah.
I mean, because you had at least like nothing was really statistically proven, right? I mean, nothing was, hey, this is my plan. I'm trying to do 6 out of 8 things, or I'm trying to turn water into wine, or I'm trying to.
Clown material.
Yeah, it was just like, shut up, clown. Shut up.
It was a shout. Yeah,
shut up, Joe.
clown.
Yeah, it's like, buddy, I'm talking.
Can you just shut up?
Yeah, I mean, Biden's
It was a
talking about like
shouting
one
match.
thing,
Right.
and again, this is not even pro or con to either of them, but like Biden's saying one thing, and then Trump's like talking about something different over him. It's not even like he's talking about like, yo, you're lying. He's like, well, go ask Hillary. Like Hillary ain't got shit to do with this. Why are you asking about that? You know what I mean? Like, I understand. I don't understand, but I understand what you're fake trying to do. But like,
What
let's
you're fake
stay.
trying to do.
Yeah.
Now-
Let's stay on focus of you versus Biden and what you're doing versus what he's not doing,
What is
or
not
vice
doing,
versa.
What's not doing. Now let me ask you about that too, because both of y'all are parents. As parents, like I mean, he made a comment about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son and his drug problem, and Joe Biden kind of addressed it, like talking about it from like a more American perspective,
Like everyday people.
Yeah, like damn shit, your
Shit,
kid
everybody
might
knows
could have
somebody
a
has
drug.
that's got a drug problem.
Fight
right?
that motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying?
mean-
but let me ask you this, Aubrey. Like, you have a child, right? Two kids, right? Mark, you have kids. If you're a political candidate, like historically, kids have been off limits, right? Like you can't
Hide the women, hide the kids.
Recent times, we heard, the Clinton daughters were wilding, or not the Clinton daughters, the Bush daughters were
Right.
wilding, and then there was all this slander against Obama. What as parents, like, how, like,
Smoking weed.
generally as parents, like, how does that
Somebody gotta die.
bump?
That's what I feel.
You
I
say
feel like
somebody's got to die?
somebody gotta die. Like if you talk about my son.
Oh, I thought he meant like out of them two.
So that shit gotta
No,
be
no,
like in
no.
politics. That shit gotta be completely off limits, right, Aubrey? Like you can't talk
It
about.
was just, I mean,
you can't talk
it's
about-
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's
No,
not relevant.
It's not irrelevant. It's what happens behind the scenes. Like
But it ain't supposed to happen in presidential debate, right?
No, but it
They-
wasn't a topic. It wasn't like, it wasn't a, not to cut you off, but it wasn't like Biden was like, yeah, I'm about to do this on the war on drugs, and, all drug addicts do this, and
This is why.
and
blah,
then
blah, blah.
and then Trump was like, bro,
For the
your
greater
son
good.
was a drug addict or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was speaking on it and he just threw it like, yo, I corrected you about that. What about this? The man was talking about like,
yo, imagine if I said something like that about baby boy or baby girl.
that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you talking
Nigga,
about?
you would be ready to draw hands. Like when you
Facts.
have when you have children and
you
you
think
say
that's what Trump was
something.
trying to do?
Yo, so hold on. So it was funny. The other day on CNN, Como was talking to the other white boy. I can't remember his name. And he was
Anderson
talking.
Cooper is one of them?
other
Nah,
white boy.
nah. He was talking to the dude where he was like, yo,
The dude.
That
I got you.
guy-
Go ahead.
That guy,
He
Jake
was like-
Tapper.
nah. It was a politician. So Cuomo was like
Oh,
talking
Ted
to homeboy.
Cruz.
Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz.
And he
No
was like,
relation to
man,
Rex.
and he was like, yo,
No
listen.
relation.
No relation.
No relation.
None.
But he was talking to homeboy. He was like, man, you remember when Trump said you're stupid?
He said, remember
Hold
when
on.
Trump
And
said
he's
your
like,
wife is
and
ugly?
yo, remember when Trump said your wife is ugly?
Word.
Nigga, we got to fight.
But he
You say my wife, well, hold on, my kids, whatever. That's cool. All right, you can say my kids. My wife is ugly? Yo, I'm about to fight your
Word.
motherfucker.
Like, I didn't have control what my kid looks like, but I did sign up and marry her. though.
Yeah. But and you said it twice. Now he said it. Now you said it. Nah, we about to.
But
we
do
about
you
to
think
scrap.
Trump? Do you think Trump's trying to go rounds with these guys? Do you think he's like trying to get somebody to kick off a fight with him up there? or
No,
not?
like I think like what Aubrey's saying is like this guy Ted Cruz like is caping for Trump, right? So
Right.
this is a guy that was getting told yo, your wife is ugly when he was running against him, right? So,
Right,
like,
yeah.
as a man that's married, like,
I'm not about to come holler to you.
and you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I'm about to scrap with your ass.
yeah, like we
about
competing
to
for a
scrap.
job, and I'm saying like, yo, man,
You tell me my wife is ugly.
his wife is ugly. You gonna be like, motherfucker, I might beat
Step
your ass if I
outside real
see you in
quick.
the streets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, you
that
tell
shit
me
is
my
cool.
wife is ugly, Joe. We about to
That shit is cool on tape, but
we about to
see me in the
fisticuffs
streets.
in this motherfucker,
So,
Joe.
so what happens? So yeah, that was a waste of time. So next week or a couple weeks, it's Pence and Ms. Harris supposed to be coming out. She's Jamaican and Sri Lankan. Speaking of,
Yeah,
I ain't
well,
really
not Sri Lanka, she's Tamil.
oh my bad. That was like
right.
the other. That's on the crossover on the other part.
So she's Indian and Jamaican, but she's Tamil. My people are Tamil. Mark's people are Jamaican. So I mean, there is a cultural pride. I think, like, you know, regardless if you're, you know, support, you know, who they are, what they stand
what
for.
their agenda is.
There is a cultural pride to see, like, you know, damn, like, you know, shit, 2008, we barely thought we could get a black candidate, you know what I'm saying, like, for president. So, like, you know what I'm saying, like that, like, but, yo, the other thing I want to talk about is what he was talking about in this debate. Like, you know, there was a call to action, I feel like, that was made to the Proud Boys or whatever, that you know, white supremacist group, right? So he wouldn't say. They asked him, Chris Wallace, dude from Fox News, asked
Biggie.
him, "Yo, can you condemn white supremacists?" And he said, "Sure, stand down and stand by." Talking about this Proud Boys, and then he started talking about Antifa, right? So I think, like, you know, it's important to, you know, talk about that, right? Like, are those two groups, like, even on the same playing field in terms of comparison? You know, like, he switched it real quick from, yeah, you know, these cats are bad, but Antifa are the people that are really starting all this shit. Can you really put Antifa and
The Proud Boys.
the Proud Boys and the KKK and, like, skinheads in the same category?
What exactly is Antifa?
I'm glad you asked that question, Mark.
Like,
Antifa, like, based on definitions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, so it's short for anti-fascist, right?
yeah.
Like, and I think, like, you know,
But what's like? Go ahead.
yeah, no, like, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but what's their movement?
The movement, yes.
Yes, like-
so, like, I think there's a lot of confusion with,
And I
like,
do, and I am aware of what Antifa is, but I just want to specifically go through so we're all on the same page.
100%. Like, I think there's a lot of confusion because, like, you see, like, people talking about socialism, communism, fascism, and it's always like these lines get blurred when you
Yeah.
hear these conversations, right? Like, so, like, you know, just looking at a definition, fascism, defined, is a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and it stands for centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition, right? So, like, you know, Antifa essentially, like, self-defined, says that they are an active and aggressive opposition to the fascist movement, right?
Right.
So their whole ideology is based on, in Nazi Germany, if there would have been a more active, aggressive resistance in the streets,
Then they would have came on.
that Hitler, you know, couldn't have.
They're basically saying they're the big brother waiting us to take over.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about shit like this too, right? Like about, you know, the right says, you know, like George Soros and Antifa is funding the Black Lives Matter movement and everything, right? Like, and we've talked about also how it's crazy, like, super suspect how these, like, pallets of bricks and shit
Be popping up in the middle of that.
in a loop and shit. Yeah, like, motherfuckers from the hood ain't bringing no fucking pallets of bricks out.
How do you
here
bring
and
up?
shit.
How do you pull up with a pallet of bricks?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, right? So, all this, you know, all this to say, like, I want to differentiate between the two. Like, Trump is saying, like, in the debate that these groups are all the same.
Yeah.
Are they all the same? And if not, like, what's the difference?
I'm trying to see what the difference is in them. I mean, are they like not made up? Clearly they're not made up, but like when he's there, well, we know who the Proud Boys are, straight. You know what I mean? And then there's other groups, but like this Antifa, are they they're pro Black Lives Matter and anti Black Lives Matter? Are they pro Biden? You know what I mean? Osaki, how are they? I'm not confused, but I just feel like there's a lot of layers to foolishness that is just kind of convoluting a message,
I mean, this shit, like, a lot of it shit started in Wisconsin, right? Like,
So I keep trying to ask Osaki brothers over here.
All right, so yeah. I'm gonna read this. I want to read this message to you and Tony B, from my homies from Wisconsin, right? That came out yesterday. Between us, I ain't gonna give you the names.
No, don't give any names.
Yeah, no. Yesterday at 8:38 p.m. My homeboy, one of my homeboys, let's say homeboy 1, and the other guy, homeboy 2. Homeboy 1 said, Civil War 2021. Think we might be on the verge. Homeboy 2022 said, me and the lady about to strap up. I gave him the thumbs up. We've been thinking the same. Homeboy 2021 said, if Trump loses and takes it back to Supreme Court, it's going to happen. He also said, I have my conceal and carry class on Wednesday and Thursday. Trump is pushing the envelope. We ain't ready. Gotta get ready. Homeboy 2020, the other homeboy, said, we ready. We survived the 90s. We just got comfortable. Other homeboy said, true. Other homeboy said, we navigate folks and peoples. Proud Boys ain't had no practice on them. Other homeboy said, true. We have our own militias, just need to come together. Other homeboy said, just imagine a reason for vice lords and folks to come together. Bloods and Crips.
Oh.
You want me to stop?
No, keep going.
And he said, they will for this. Homeboy said, yeah. Then the other homeboy said, the last thing suburban America wants is drive-bys in their neighborhoods. I can assure you that the movement don't want VLs of folks killed by white militias. There will be retaliation. Them niggas well-versed, ambushes, kidnappings, extortions, etc. And then the only time I replied, I was like, yo, y'all start loading up on ammo now. Homeboy said, will do. So I think what's interesting, man, about this whole situation, man, is that we already have like militias in our community, right? It's just not organized.
Beyond not
That's
organized.
our problem. We're not organized and not mobilized, right? Like,
it's not organized and it's not mobilized, man. So we got to figure out a way, man, for vice lords, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to get into that, man, because
That's a whole different. It's a
whole different thing, man. But at the same time, we have to understand the power and what we already have.
No, you're right. You're right, and I mean, I think that's what we need to like look at right now, right? Like, there's a call to action right now on one side, right? Like, I mean, and I don't think like at this point we can deny.
We just need the OGs. Yeah, we need the OGs to come together, man. Like, and not on some like try to take over the world and try to do this. We just need the OGs to come together, man. Like, we need Larry Hoover free.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Aubrey. Like,
You know what I mean? We need the GDs free. We need all them cats free, man, so they can have an understanding. But that's why they're not gonna let them free.
But that's what I'm saying. When you look at that, like, at the end of the day, we
Growth
have to
and
look at it
development.
from a
Vice
race
lords,
perspective,
all that.
right?
Let
But
them cats free.
at the end of the day, those leaders that you're talking about, Larry Hoover, people like that, Jeff Ford, they're all locked up, right? The leaders that they're talking about on the other side are David Duke and all these people that are still in the streets, the leader of the Proud Boys, who used to work for
And
Vice,
even when
all
you
these
let
guys-
them, even when you let these
their
cats
leaders
free,
are on the street. So
Where
like,
do you used to work for?
even when you let
work
these
for
cats
Vice.
free, though,
Vice
Rex.
Media? Crazy.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. But even when you let these cats free, these young cats ain't listening to them, man. So we have to
ain't
have
that crazy?
Like,
It's diverse as they supposed to be, right?
Vice is supposed to be the media that's feeding us
The real shit.
the real shit.
The real
right?
shit.
And I want to just, we explained what Antifa means. So, like, I also want to, like, just describe, like, specifically what the Proud Boys says they are versus what we've seen them actually do, right? Like, they literally self-described as Western chauvinists who adamantly
Western
deny...
chauvinists.
Western chauvinists.
First of all, that right there just
fuck
sounds
is
ill
that?
as fuck, right? Western chauvinists.
Chauvinists, like, chauvinists. Who adamantly deny any connection to the racist all-right while
Why we giving
insisting...
them-
Hold on.
yo, why we giving these? Oh, go ahead.
No, because, well,
No,
we-
because
we
people
want
need to
people
know what the
No,
fuck
go ahead,
they're
go ahead,
saying.
go ahead,
We
go
want
ahead.
people
This
to
is what
know.
they're saying they are versus what they are.
Yeah.
Insisting they are simply a fraternal group spreading anti-political correctness and anti-white guilt agenda. Now, their actions on the flip side of that bullshit fucking statement say the opposite, right? They are all about white nationalist content, memes, agendas, and shit. They're anti-Muslim. They're anti-immigrant. They're they're misogynistic. Everything to say they're not, they are, right? So, Charlottesville, right? That Unite the fucking Right rally where people got killed and shit. One of the fucking leaders, former leaders of this group, was an organizer of that rally. Right. So, my question to you guys is, at this point, like, is it fair to say, after what we heard in the debate with the call to action for the Proud Boys and everything, where Trump is basically saying, stand down and stand by. Aubrey, if I told you, like, yo, right now, I need you to stand by, bro. Some shit's popping off. I need you to stand by. What does that mean to you?
If you called me, go ahead, Aubrey. You tell him first, because maybe.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yo, I think the nigga was on some dumb. I don't think
I just want you to tell me, though, if I called you and said, stand by, bro, I need you to stand by. What does that mean to you?
So I really don't think dude,
He about to hit you with that Trump answer.
Got hit with the ad. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
knowledge rates supreme over nearly everybody.
One.
So I don't think that he really knew what he was saying. He said something in the heat of the moment, bro. Like he's not a smart man. So I feel like he said that
True.
not
point.
really knowing what he was saying. I really don't think he was saying that. I don't think he understood the
vernacular.
Yeah, man. Like,
But why are we making up excuses?
When they pressed him about it, he said,
That's what
I want you to come to the polling places. And
he said
make
what
sure,
about the polling places?
he said, I want my supporters to be at the polling places to make sure they're voting the right way.
You read between the lines.
No. I never heard that. Tell me what it is.
I'm going to pull up the direct quote.
Judge it the correct way. I think that, man, like, homeboy don't really understand what he's saying, man. Like, he says
But he's the
misinformation.
president, so, I mean,
And that's
shit.
what we got to understand, man, is that, and anybody listening, man, is understand that Trump has learned his political philosophy from the WWE, the WWF,
Hey, man.
wrestling. So
Trump,
Mark,
and
you
you
gonna
get
let him disrespect-
them pre-match interviews.
I'm just
What you gonna let
do,
disrespect
brother?
WWE right there?
I'm just trying to give you the science on it, man. So, homeboy went and talked to Jesse Ventura. You can go look this up. He went and talked to Jesse Ventura about how to win elections. And he told him it's WWE, WWF. So everything he's doing,
Makes
and
sense.
if you look at what this
Lip service.
this devil is doing, you can see that he's doing everything that is in accordance with the WWE, whatever you want to call it, wrestling.
With wrestling and
Yeah. Like he went the other day, he was in Minnesota or somewhere.
Yeah, Minnesota.
He's like, Minnesota, what are you doing? I can't believe you did this.
That's so right.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, this is wrestling at this point, man. Like,
But
and
bro,
what's
that
fucked
sounds
up,
crazy,
bro,
but that
what's
I want
fucked
to
up
get
about
back.
it, though, Rex, is that if somebody in hip-hop did that, right? Like, yo, this motherfucker right here is doing this. Fuck that. Blah, 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 blah. Rah, rah, rah. Then we call him out. Nobody's calling this square-ass motherfucker out, man. He's a square. He's a square. And the idea that he can even get away with it and nobody knows that what he's doing, it's a very scientific thing, man. This is not anything that's new. He's doing something that has been very well planned out according to Jesse the Body Ventura. Let's not forget that. That's his homeboy.
You know, his wife is
And
also
Jesse
like
the
the
Body-
small business administrator.
And
over
Jesse the Body
WWE too as
Ventura
well.
person is the one that gave him the keys to how to like
the
make
convo.
this shit work.
To make this shit work.
Yeah, it's all WWE, WWF, whatever you want to
Get
call
the
it.
crowd hype.
Get the
But
crowd
that's
hype.
but I guess that's
That should make sense.
That's a question. That's the question. Is that where we've got to?
Yes.
That's where we at,
this
yo.
shit- Did our presidential election in the fucking United States, the so-called greatest nation in the fucking world,
Lies.
the free fucking leader of the free world, did we become the nation where our presidential election is a reality show that you just talked about with Jesse the Body Ventura?
That's where he went and got his
But
information
he remember,
from.
wasn't Jesse Ventura was the mayor up there in Minnesota?
No, he was a governor, yo.
Governor
He was a
in
governor.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's who he went to go talk to.
Minnesota.
That's initially
The mayor of
who
Minneapolis,
Trump went to
governor
go
of
talk
Minnesota.
to about how to win elections.
How to get cats amped up.
Yeah. And if you look at him, oh yeah, blah blah blah. He talk over people. He yells at people. He says dumb shit that don't mean no
Just
fucking
phrases and shit.
No, but Jesse Ventura didn't go to all the way to crazy shit that this cat is saying.
Oh no, he
right?
did, but it was in Minnesota and we didn't pay attention.
No, I mean he said crazy shit, but
Oh no, we weren't paying attention to
This
Minnesota.
guy is
though.
pushing the limits of crazy.
Tony B, we weren't paying attention to Minnesota.
Jesse,
That was only Minnesota. So
No,
we didn't pay attention.
I would argue against that though, because people were talking about him for a presidential candidate because of how his popularity was growing with that base.
Jesse the Body was never considered for a president.
That is totally false. That is totally false.
Hold on,
When-
Jesse the Body was considered for a president of the United
He
States?
was the blueprint for Donald Trump, like you said, right?
But he was never considered for the president.
That's when they started considering people like Donald
outside.
Trump.
Outside.
I'm saying, but he wasn't considered for the president.
If there wasn't, he ran
Jesse
so
basically
Donald Trump
opened it
could
up.
fucking fly.
No, but I'm saying Jesse never ran for president.
No, but he
Let's
was,
make sure we understand that.
He's saying
No.
the model.
'Cause this is
Correct.
going
he
out
was
to
the
the
model.
world.
He
Correct,
was the
correct.
model
I'm
for
saying
Donald Trump to come.
Jesse never was.
He was
Jesse
the
never
model-
ran for the president.
He was the
But the
model
The
for Donald
president
Trump
of the
to come
United
into-
States went to Jesse the Body Ventura
If
and
Jesse-
learned the science.
If
the
Jesse-
reason
and
he
then
went
he
to
started
Jesse is
running
what
that.
he's saying, no,
Aubrey,
But I'm just saying, like, no,
Aubrey,
we can't.
Aubrey, no.
Yo,
time
this
out.
is we got to be responsible, bro. This
You
is
said-
Time out.
yes,
Time
we're
out.
saying
If
the same
Jesse,
thing.
if Jesse Ventura had not become the governor
governor.
of a state, Donald Trump would not have got empowered to run for
no,
president.
it doesn't matter, bro. Jesse Ventura was a wrestler, and he was a
A
part of
reality,
that.
not a reality
He
show,
was a
but
yes, but essentially
That's the
Sports-
point.
it's
He was a
sports
reality
entertainment,
person.
we're saying
reality.
the same thing, bro.
So that makes sense why Trump went to him.
We're saying the same thing,
No, we're not.
yeah, you are kind of.
literally.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
If Jesse Ventura hadn't run and given reality stars an option, Donald Trump wouldn't run.
He did the blueprint on a smaller scale.
Anyway, like to wrap this up, like I want to ask you this question. Like we're talking about all this race shit and Trump shit and this side and that side. At this point, like he called out a white supremacist group and said, "Stand down, but stand by."
Hold me down.
Yes,
I'm gonna hit your line in a minute. Yo, Tony B.
Y'all.
I'm over here hollering with the people. Just make sure y'all stay available. I'll hit you back in a bit. Right?
Yes.
That's what the call said. If I was a hit
put
with a
him on
yarn,
a
I was like,
hotline
yo,
bling.
I'm
Right.
trying to leave out of here. I might have to hit you back in 20. Be on standby. That's basically what my man said. But Aubrey said he didn't know if he meant to say it intentionally. Correct?
And and even if we give him the benefit of that doubt, man, I want to ask you guys this question.
But he also never said, don't be out here wilding in the
Why
streets.
are you backtracking now?
Yes.
Like when people are
Now
talking
you
to you about
backtrack.
it, he's like, I
In
didn't say that shit. I
in
said,
Minneapolis
I
and
said,
Minnesota.
I said stand down and let the law
police-
enforcement take care
yes.
of it. You know what I'm saying? So my
You
question,
recanted your statement now.
my last question to you guys is, can people who say that they support him after this, it's not only a dog whistle, it's a motherfucking hooty hoo.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like to these motherfuckers, the racists. Like,
Niggas coming out
can
the
you
woodworks.
say you're not? Can you still support Donald Trump at this point and not be racist?
But it seems it's interesting because it's like even his supporters and his allies and are taking double looks at him, which doesn't mean he's not going to potentially. He doesn't have a good chance of still winning, but even those cats are batting the eye at him
Looking
like,
crazy,
yo, bro,
yeah.
what are you really doing?
I mean, you got people in Congress that they're asking Republicans that are like, "Yo, do you stand down for denounce white supremacy?" Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Should he have said that? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard. It's a yes or no
Protect
answer.
your family.
You know?
Grow vegetables. Learn how to fish. Learn how to shoot.
What?
That's not the
all
question
that-
we're
all that-
asking, Aubrey. I'm
all that-
asking you
yeah.
a direct question. Can you tell if you are a Trump supporter at this point, after all he said and all he's defended, is it logical to say, yeah, I support him, but I'm not racist? Like, can they defend it?
I have no interest in talking to Trump supporters. I would love to have this conversation with people that are independent thinkers. So when it comes to independent thinkers, learn how to grow your food, learn how to take care of your family. Same thing I said the last episode. Learn how to grow your food.
Well, real quick. So, and all that, but what about the cats that don't know how to protect themselves? Because
Yeah.
you definitely
Ain't
can't be
nobody-
calling
ain't
911.
Everybody
You
ain't
definitely
able right now.
You ain't
Right,
calling.
so-
You ain't calling the cops,
So when it comes
right?
to that, Rex,
Because people, I mean,
We
for
supposed to
what?
protect each other as a community, right?
no.
Yeah,
Nah, fuck that.
yeah, it is. As a community as a whole,
that's,
yes.
that's the ideology.
Don't
right?
come in my neighborhood. Don't come on my block.
Rex,
You know what I mean?
Rex, that's the ideology, right? That is the ideology. But at the same time, like, how do you take care of your family and take care of your community? Which one comes first, bro?
Bro, you got to take care of the community.
No, which one comes
I'm
first?
telling you. You have to take care of your family, but at the same
All
time,
right, so
you
that's
have
what
to
I'm talking
manage-
about.
Family is part of
I'm
the
not-
But you have to
community.
manage the
No,
community. Because
community
hold on, check-
comes way later.
No, it's
bro.
not. Because if your
Way
community
later,
is,
it's
if
literally
your
where your kids are
community,
growing
if
up
your
in.
community is getting lit, if your community is under attack, you can't be just hiding in the house and be
How
like,
you
all
gonna
right,
protect your
guys,
kids?"
let's just camp the fire in the back because we got dinner coming up in an hour. Yeah, I mean that's not reality. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you can't shield them from fucking reality.
While
Like,
your block is being fired up, you know what I'm saying? You got to be like, yo, I got to figure out the block. You guys hold it down in here. Even if you stand in front of your fort and holding it down.
and we all
But-
three live on the west side of Chicago, so we know this as well as
Yo, bro,
anybody
listen,
else.
man,
Like,
listen,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? But anyway,
Yo, no, you can't just say anyway, bro. I think the biggest thing, man, is, and I said
can't.
this to y'all last week, man, and we're
we
gonna
can't
close
know.
it
It's our
out.
platform. We can say whatever we want.
No,
So say it.
we can close it out. Now I'll say this as my last statement, right? The most important thing, no matter what happens, what a president gets, elected, or no matter what governor gets elected, the most important thing is to take care of your family.
That's your priority.
That's part, but
How do you do that, though? I'm not saying,
family
like,
and community are tied together, bro. Like,
it's a village. to
Community
raise a
comes way later, bro.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so I'm gonna take care of my community before I take care of my family.
No, but as a community,
goddamn
you're
crazy,
gonna lock
Joe.
the community down and then take care
This
of
is
your family.
this is
I'm not
why.
hearing it.
Yo,
I'm not
yo,
hearing it, Joe.
Time out.
And trust me, hold on.
No,
hold
Tony
on,
B. I'm gonna say no.
I haven't said nothing the whole time, bro.
Because
I'm
you've
gonna
been
say
drunk
no,
over
but
there
I'm
and
gonna say
sitting
what I'm
over
gonna
there,
say. Listen, man, I've been a part of this Black Panther shit. I've been a part of the Nation of Islam shit. You niggas ain't gonna tell me that shit, bro. Like, you ain't gonna come in here and tell me how to take care of my family. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do.
No, I don't
So,
think that. I don't
however
think we
you
said
want
anything
to,
different.
hold on. Keep recording this, Beto. However you want to take care of your family, Tony B, you take care of it, and I will respect that. And I will help you take care of that. Mark, however you want to take care of your family, you take care of it, and I will help you. However I want to take care of my family, I'm gonna goddamn do it because it's best for me and my family.
You know what? You know what you just described is community.
That's what I was about to say. That's exactly what you
I ain't
just said.
said nothing about no community.
Yes, you did. You
Nigga,
said you
what you just
take
said
care
was
of your
community,
family, and
bro.
I'm gonna help you. You said Tony, take care of your family, and I'm gonna
No.
help you.
But the
I'ma
first
take
thing,
my
the
care of
first part of that was taking care of me and mine.
But
Yes,
what?
but
The
we are
community
part
is
of your
still
community.
part of that.
So we are what you're
No,
taking.
Yeah, it
no,
is.
bro. No, listen. I'm not worried about what y'all doing. The first part of me and mine is taking care of my fiance, my daughter, and my son. And then my sisters, my brothers.
Why
And
do you
that's
think
it.
we have this group? You know what I'm saying?
So
Like,
one of you is gonna protect those 4 against the other 30,000.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm just asking you though.
Yo, bro, I don't
I'm
even
just
think
asking
about
you,
it.
though.
I don't think about that, Rex.
But I do. But I'm asking
We
you.
do.
That's what you
Wait.
think about. And that's what you think about.
I'm
You here
asking
by
you.
too.
Tony B, you here by yourself.
I eat with
matter.
us.
No.
But I'm asking
Tony
you,
B, no. What I'm saying, I love y'all, man. I love y'all.
But-
Beto, please keep recording.
I would
this.
stand in the streets
No,
with y'all,
Tony
with
B.
The, with
No,
or
no,
without
no.
a strap, without anything. If I had to just throw my hands,
I'm
it
not
doesn't
standing.
matter.
I'm not standing in the street with you
Doesn't
with
matter.
no strap. I'm not standing in the street
Not
with you
against
no
the Proud
strap.
Boys, huh?
Then I
I'm
guess-
not
then I
standing in the
guess
street
that's
with
the
you no
difference
strap.
between us, man.
I'm
Like,
going to get my family, and I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge, and I'm
Where's
taking
Dodge?
care of me and mine.
So where you going now?
I ain't gonna tell. You think I'm gonna
jo-
talk
I'm-
about this on this microphone?
No,
Well,
but
I
I'm just
mean-
But
again.
I'm telling you, Tony B, understand this.
I guess that's the
You
difference.
are on your own.
I'm not on my own, motherfucker.
No.
I have parents. I have fucking.
No, Tony B, that's not
I
what
have
I'm saying,
sisters, I have
bro.
a
Mountain up,
grandmother.
G.
What the fuck you talking about on my own? Like,
Tony
I'm a
B, that's not what
nomad
I'm
in this
saying, bro.
motherfucker? Like, motherfucker out here just rolling the streets like fucking dude from Kung Fu and shit, bro. Like, ain't nobody on their own. We are a community,
So
brother.
it's a community.
We are
It's a community effort. Because
We
clearly,
are a community.
yeah, it's a
At
community
the end
effort.
of the day, yes, you might say
Your family is a part of the community.
at the end of the day, you want all of us to be there for your family at the end of that day, right? Like,
That's definitely your priority. And that's, obviously our priority and this and that. But again, no pun, it's
you
the
gonna run
strength
them
in
out
numbers.
of town and shit, cool. Like, that makes sense, but to a location that you can get them to, yeah, that makes sense. But at the end of the day, if some shit is popping off here and you say, Tony B, I need you over here right now, I don't give a fuck if I'm got armed with army guns or if I'm fucking walking down the street half naked, I'm pulling up over there. It don't
Yo,
matter.
man, listen,
if
man.
you call me and say I need you, I'm
Yo,
there.
listen, man. I love you guys, man. But at the end of the day, I am not going to stand in the middle of the streets for you two before I go home and take care of my sister.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
So what are you guys saying? I'm confused.
We'll be back and we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. You've been rocking with 3 Sides to a Story, the podcast for the people. Tune in next week. Follow us at 3 Sides to a Story.
And take care of your goddamn family.
Take care of your family and check in with us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, Stitcher. Talk to y'all. Peace.